Do you crave speed? Do you need to feel the wind in your hair? Do you need an adrenaline rush to keep your heart beating at a nice healthy 130 beats per minute? Then you would love Dying Light, the parkour zombie game, where zombies can do elite parkour. But how wheelchair accessible is the city of Haran? Can you beat Dying Light without jumping? No. I mean, obviously no. But what I can do is beat the game with as little jumps as possible. So that's what I'm doing. I awoke in a plane. The story happened. I'm hunting a political opponent of the global relief efforts. They sent me into the zombie-infested city of Haran to kill him and secure a file. As I landed, I got beat like the little bitch I am. Then I shot a man, proving my masculinity. Shortly after, a night runner bit me in the day, and I was saved before falling back asleep. I woke up in a bed that wasn't mine, then scared some kids. I think the MILF at the bar took me home. Can't remember last night. The only thing I can remember is the hickey on my arm. I met a kid, or at least he's probably a kid. He's like 18, so a kid. He told me what to do, posing as a boss. He has my radio to contact the GRE. I need my mother on my phone to tell me what to do. He gave it back to me without much hassle, but I did have a task: secure floor 13. And luckily, we have an elevator in this tower, so no stairs for wheelchair man. That's my name. Mom called me, told me I slept for 3 days, and told me to get the lost file. But a scream distracted me. I picked up my brother and killed someone else's brother. This guy's bleeding real bad. I need to make him a medkit, so I did. The doctors showed up and took over, and I witnessed a brother and a sister fighting. As the little brother myself, I can assure you, Jade, the older sister, is the asshole. I changed into a yucky yellow outfit and went upstairs to the gym. The crane came in and destroyed some stuff. Then I had to jump. I spent a minute or two looking for a ramp or stairs to get onto the crane, but this parkour game really wants me to jump for some reason. I left the game with an idea. If I used an old character with a grappling hook, I wouldn't have to jump. So I started to run a bit, but then realized something. If I use a grapple hook, it defeats the restriction of this challenge. So I went back and made a rule. I can use a grappling hook, but only when I unlock it again. I'm back at the old save, this time with a heartbreaking discovery. I need to jump. So let's change it up. I'm asking, how many jumps does it take to beat Dying Light? I looked for the best pathway before I jumped and made the decision to leap from my mobility scooter. This video now has an ideological shift in nature. If I jump, climb, or even vault, I'll mark it down. Speaking of, I had to vault to get onto the crane. I managed to walk up onto the crane though. I watched Raheem, that's the kid, fulfill my dream by jumping off a building. I tried to die as well, but it was a prank and I'm alive. I now need to go through this training course. I realized how dumb my challenge idea was at this point. This is going to be a long one. I may not show every way I found to traverse and avoid jumping, but I will say that each jump was very much a contested idea. I spent as long as possible trying to find a way to not jump. By the way, if you see me jump in the challenge and not count it, it's because I only count jumps that progress the story. I took a lot of experimental jumps to see which path was the best. Every jump is a dagger into my heart, and it hurts with all my love for you. By the end of this challenge, my heart became more metal than flesh. This climbing section just solidified I won't be able to beat this game with less than 10 jumps, so here's hoping for 100. To pass the final test, I tried to skip all of the tests by simply climbing where I wasn't supposed to, but I managed to pass it with one strafe jump. Back on the crane, I had a seizure, such a safe place where I won't fall to my death with one minor slip. Raheem told me to go see the good doctor Zara. I'm finally in the open world, and the world is my oyster. Too bad I hate seafood. I found a way to enter Zara's camp by climbing up some stairs and falling into the campsite. Zara was talking to his Discord kitten. He gave me a shot that probably gave me autism and rushed me out. Getting out of the safe house was just as easy, just some stairs and walking over a fence. Though muscle memory made me climb this awning thing, I backtracked though so it doesn't count. What was that? You think it should count? This is my story. Fuck you, please don't go. I spoke to Spikle. I'm setting traps for him. So straight men, watch out. Just because it's in a skirt doesn't make it a girl. I cleared around this trap car before realizing it wasn't my objective. I managed to walk on top of this van but got stuck there. I had to take an L and walk around to enter via the back and use only one vault. I killed my first viral, those are zombies that are freshly turned, meaning they're still very fast, and sound alerts them from all over. I turned on the power and secured my one and only safe zone. See, safe zones almost always require parkour to get in, and we both know why I can't do that. So no more of that for me. Mom called, so I had to get on the ceiling to talk to her. I used this power pole to avoid any unnecessary jumps. I still had to climb once more. If I jump and it lands on a climb, it's just a jump. I'm not counting both separately. I told GRE Mom about the scientist and his kitten trying to make a cure for the zombies. She told me to monitor him. 10-4, over and out, Mom. Back to my traps. I managed to get onto this roof without a single climb or vault. This one did take one jump, and don't even get me started on the next two. The substation at the local power plant went down, and it's my job to flip the breakers. I met a zombie called a goon. I wonder if they thought goon would mean what it does now when they made this. I ignored him and flipped set breakers. This guy looked gross. This guy looked gross. Spike told me about how Brecken got hurt real bad. So now I need to meet him and kiss his boo-boo. But before I did that, I needed to talk to Mom to let her know I'm meeting him. After that, I learned something that defeated me so much for no reason. Each time I go into the tower, I must jump. There is no avoiding it. Brecken decided that I was fit enough to go get the antizin drop. Antizin is a medicine that prolongs the zombie virus. It's basically Zombrex from Dead Rising. Me and Mom talked about Brecken. He's a clean boy, not the rotten egg that will mount me later. The airdrop was on this roof, and I spent a considerable amount of time looking for how to get there without jumping. We both knew I'd fail. It took just 2 jumps to make it to the drop, and I was empty. A ruse. I made it to the next drop, and Mom told me to burn the meds because of politics and forcing me to meet with a stinky player. The light had died, and now the big boys come out. Volatiles are dangerous beasts who will chase you around town just to kill you. They're faster than you at your running speed, so you usually climb to avoid their grace. But I can't do that. Luckily, I made it to the tower. The big players in the tower were debating who should meet with Rise. Spoiler, it's the guy whose legs don't work too well. Traveling at night is dangerous, but you get double points for being out during the night. Plus, I don't sleep. I managed to make it to Rise's garrison, but I need to find a way in. I managed to get on top of the van and jump over the fence, rather than just jumping the fence. Why? Not a clue. I saw Rise, he did some foreshadowing, and he made me a deal for antizin, talk to his quartermaster, and see what needs to be done. Kareem, that's his quartermaster, told me to climb antenna towers. When I started this challenge, I was wondering how hard it would be to do, knowing there were parts that I would have to climb. I walked into this challenge with the idea of knowing that I'd fail. But this fucking sucks. I'm in double digits with all my stats now. Too bad it's golf rules. I cut corners where I could on these climbing puzzles, and with just under 30 jumps, I got to the stripped wiring of the tower, meaning I have to climb yet another tower. With my spirit officially broken, I finally made it to the controls and switched them on. Rice was happy, but not happy enough to give me antizin. No way, the obvious asshole villain doesn't want to pay his end of the deal. Damn. Now I need to go to the local settlements and take extortion money. Too bad I can't pocket any of it. I had to do just 1 vault to call Mom again. Why am I calling the GRE Mom? I may have had to threaten to break an old man's legs to get money, which is ironic given my supposed situation. But what's worse is I had to jump to get in there. I spent way too long looking at a dead zombie just to see if it was anatomically correct. I heard a long time ago they did make it anatomically correct, but I think they just put a polygon mesh right where there'd be 1 of those, or so I would assume. And it makes it almost look like there is a thing there. The money courier for the fisherman's village is now explosive, but hey, that just means I get to go to the fisherman's village, which is under attack from zombies. If you haven't noticed, the counters don't go up much at all between clips. It's coincidence. I'm watching every second of this 6-hour-long recording, and I'm counting every jump and vault. But when I need to go from point A to point B, it's mainly me running through the streets. The lead fisherman was having a domestic with his fisherwoman. Luckily, this is a water-based safe zone, so I can enter by swimming and I can leave the same way as well. Unfortunately, I did have to vault to get into the barge safe zone to collect more money. Kareem sent me on a stupid side objective just to delay me. I managed to get a file. I got a file from a dead man. That's the file I was supposed to secure for the GRE. I just now realized this as I'm recording this, and now I feel stupid for playing this game countless times without thinking about that in the past. Was that the file? Was that the file? Was that the file? I hit 40 jumps just to get into Rise's garrison. Rise asked me about doing some human trafficking. I, like any sane person, said no, and despite his gun pointed at me, I held my ground. Common Crane W. Mom called. I'm sure it was to reprimand me for giving up the file I was supposed to recover. I gave Jade the antizin Rise gave me, which is 5 whole vials. I checked on Brecken. I think he might be Amish with how he abused this TV. Raheem was drunk on the roof. He told me about his vacation that never occurred and talked about blowing up a tower just to get a volatile hive. I asked Mama for an allowance and she said no because it wouldn't be politically advantageous. Insert politically relevant joke here. I don't think I've shown you much traversing, but here's me running from one place to another just so you can understand what most of this game is. The train car on this side is closed, but when I go around, it's open now? Me and Jade are breaking into the school. There's a corrupt chemistry teacher there, and he's selling meth. The only way into the school I could access, though, was on the roof. This game hates me. I walked in on someone who had a tummy ache. I'm in school now. The school is a whole lot of nothing until I met some enemies. Then it was a little something, but not much. This Kool-Aid man got a face full of throwing stars. These guys are being way too loud in a library. I shut them up real quick. I don't think I mentioned it, but we're here looking for antizin, to which there was none. Now to the basement to look for more. The basement had explosives, both in the zombie form and in the plastic form. Now, I'm no Ted Kaczynski, but I do know that bombs in schools don't mix well. So Jade took them back to the tower, Wait, explosives don't go there either. I'm sure it's fine. The steel beams won't melt. Outside the school, I saw the living booger again. For some reason, I told a pyromaniac, demolitionist, untrained kid about the highly dangerous explosives. I'm sure he won't rebel against us and go blow up that hive. I asked the doctor about the man with the boogers in his pants. He told me to hunt one down, and that was super easy. They hyped it up so much, and all I did was kill a former man. What's the big deal? The test results came back positive. I'm pregnant. And Booger Man is the father. Don't ask. Raheem did the thing with the bomb, fucking kids and idolizing terrorists. I found his dead friend on the overpass, and rolled to the nearby train barn, or whatever this is. I threw a molly at this toad, then saw Raheem with an obvious bite wound, but he armed the explosives, so I don't have time to worry about that. I have to climb this huge-ass tower just to place some bombs. This is dumb. I hate this challenge. I hate everything. I feel like Sisyphus. The first bomb went on this big X. That's convenient. The second bomb was just as obvious. And the building fell, just as my confidence in this challenge did, back at minute 1. Raheem is a zombie now, and I relished the moment I got to snap his neck. Hooray. We're on jump 50 now. 50 more, and I'll let myself order pizza of any choice from my nearest pizza chain. I hope it's not Cece's Pizza. God damn, I hate Cece's Pizza. I told Brecken about Raheem's death. He was happy, but his sister Jade wasn't. Our neighbors had a domestic, and I had to kill their extended family. Dr. Zera has been kidnapped. He seems pretty old to be a kid. Where is he? Only inside Rise's base, of course. And how do I get in? Via the roof, of course, because where the fuck else would the entrance be? A small gathering on the bridge managed to kill me, so that's fun. I managed to escape the safe house with no jumps, which is surprising. I began my ascent to a higher plane of existence, starting with a shady van. By the time I reached the top, all my stats were shit. To quell my rage, I threw a man off a building. His twin got the same treatment. I tried to call Mom when I got inside, but Dad picked up the phone, and he's had a couple drinks. He's threatening to ground me by bombing the city, unless I help a doctor finish his homework. This fall was too high for me, but sliding isn't climbing, so it doesn't count. I found myself in the first major shootout of this game. For a game focused on parkour and melee combat system, the gunplay is surprisingly okay. Not good, just okay. In the basement of this place, I found the good doctor and escorted him away before being caught. Zara took a knife to the leg, no more adventuring for him, and I took a butt to the face. Can I get a hell yeah? Hell no. I'm in the pit, an arena where Rice has people fight for his entertainment, and I sure hope I'm entertaining. Killing the zombies in here was super simple, but then Rice got me a gift, and then showed me what happened to Santa Claus, and he wasn't looking too good. Him and his elves managed to get me real good as he was low on health. I managed to get my revenge. Then Rice published the file, and was getting ready to execute me. But I went beast mode, and really fucked him up. The doc got stabbed, definitely not shot by one of my many bullets. The doctor is dead. Dad won't be happy, but maybe I can do his homework for him. Right enough to jump, hop, and run to escape. The bullets nearly killed me, but despite high caliber bullets filling my body, replacing most of my flesh, I continued to run. I managed to get through the onslaught with a surprisingly little amount of jumps. I'm outside now, and instead of running, I stood still and waited to pass out so someone could save me. Brecken told me that I'm a wanted man by Rice, so I need to flee to Old Town. You'll see why that's awful in a moment. I scanned this house for any stairs as I slowly realized I must climb. I managed to avoid vaulting by walking up on this plant. I spoke to the man who's going to smuggle me across the border. He told me to go to a tunnel that I can barely reach, but we ball anyways and do it. I made it to the sewers without much hassle. Just some jumps. I'm now cargo, and I will get across the wall. Lots of jumping puzzles here. It's foreshadowing for the pain that I'm going to experience in Old Town. I had to clear and or ignore the infected to pass, but instead of doing that, I opted to die. I managed to slip by undetected. I did die again in this sewer tunnel though. Right as I got to 75 jumps, I learned that I had been betrayed and Rise's men are waiting to ambush me. This shoot was just as easy, if not easier, than the previous ones. And at 76 jumps, I made it halfway through the game and into Old Town. Take a look, tell me what you see, and tell me why it's bad. The slums buildings were very sparse. Parkour was an afterthought, but here, it's the main focus. Luckily, I can still run through the streets, it's just more annoying. The amount of jumps I need just to get to this safe zone hurts me. I met Troy and her bitch boy, Savvy. I spoke to Jade on the radio. She's still mad about the whole dead brother thing, but she went to the local university to get a higher education. Too bad I went there, she was already gone. But she did leave a message with this guy. It said, not again. Yeah again, this is like my 107th playthrough. I was lucky to find this ladder when climbing up to the loft again. This saves me 3 whole jumps. Savvy showed me a news broadcast saying that we were all gonna blow up unless we do something about it. Time to commit arson. I hate these interior sections of the game. They're incredibly boring and they force me to climb. I grabbed the bombs and met my new best friend, the elevator. It was great until a zombie fell into the shaft. We reached jump 100 at the top of the elevator shaft. Do I get a prize? No. I get a painful reminder that this is a no jumping challenge. My job here was to gas up a few apartments and plant a bomb, so we can paint a fiery pattern on the tower, one no zombie could ever do. I found a kid in this apartment. He's probably okay. I was never sure if Crane was soothing the baby or snapping its neck, and I'm still unsure. This dead guy made it impossible for me to get back into the elevator. I grabbed the detonator and fled outside. The bombs worked until the military said no. Dad is an asshole. Jade was mentally stable enough to meet me, but when I made it to the meeting location, she was kidnapped. Again. First the doctor, then Jade. The shit sucks. She's at the museum. I wish I knew how to spell that word. So I spoke to the custodian of that building. He told me to sleep with the fishes, so I did, but I wasn't very tired. That's my way of saying I hate these unskippable swimming portions of the game. Let's add swimming to our parkour game, and you know what? Add a bike too. Let's make this a triathlon. By the time I entered the fort, my stats were all off. I hate this challenge. It was bullshit to begin with. Why did I do it? The most insulting part of Rise's plan wasn't the fact that he took Jade. It wasn't the bullets that his men shot at me. It was that he made me jump and climb. The last line of defense was a small horde of zombies, which I blasted with some slugs. I found Jade. She's been bitten. I blasted a few more zombies with a shotgun. Jade sent me into a dreamscape. And since I'm not conscious, these jumps aren't real. This is just me being lazy and not wanting to count these. I still have 2 hours of footage to edit, and I want this to be done and up before tomorrow, and it's noon. Spoiler alert, I did not get this up tomorrow. I woke up doing my favorite thing. Jade injected me with antizin so I wouldn't turn, but that means she will. And I got to kill a whole family, brother and sister. Now I have to kill Tahir, Rise's right-hand man. He was easy, and now I have Zara's homework, or at least half of the assignment. Troy told me about a way to cheat on my homework. All I have to do is climb an antenna tower that's on top of a mountain and call my neighbors to tell on Dad. Troy gave me the signal booster and I was off to the mountain. Did you know the best way to get to the mountains is the fucking sewer? I've seen so much shit in this game and 90% of it is in the sewer, which might sound normal, but why is there any shit outside of the sewer? I'm outside again, and this time I'm feeling a bit of vertigo. I chose the trash option specifically for this line.
One day I'm gonna do this and end up landing on a bag of rusty knives, I just know it.
I found the access card and made it to the antenna. I flipped a few switches, the elevator broke, so I'm climbing this again. I made to 150 jumps by the time I was halfway up the antenna. I finally made it to the top of the tower, I did the thing with the thing, and I told my neighbors about Dad's funny drink that makes him mad. Dad backed off. By the way, Dad was the Ministry of Defense. I don't think I ever said that. Oh, Mom called too, and I told her to fuck off. Now, I'm in the last 2 missions. Thank God. I want this torture to be over. I need to give Dr. Camden some of Zara's research, so he can finish the homework for me. I forgot when I got it, but I finally got my grappling hook. I'm not counting every grapple hook use. My sanity couldn't take it. I'm in the clinic, now in the elevator, now in the lab of the clinic. I'm speedrunning this last stretch. I want to eat my lunch already. The grapple did jack shit for me in there. I wish something entertaining happened here, but this mission is basically a forced side mission, and though it applies to the main story, I'm treating it like a side mission. I gave Camden the samples, and that's that. On to the final mission. I used the grapple hook to get on top of this tower and spoke to Mom, but it was Rise. He has Zara's homework, and he's gonna tattle to Mom. I need to kill him. I'm back in the sewer. I abused the grapple hook to get through this with the minimal jumps. I'm back in the slums now, and now I'm at Rise's tower again. The final stretch. This part of the game is my favorite part. You run, you dip, duck, dive, and dodge, and you run. But for this challenge, it sucks. I made it to the last stretch of the first stretch of the last stretch. I had some deja vu. By the time I reached the elevator, I managed to get over 100 climbs. Still no prize. Kareem was shot, but I didn't care. I can't make this not jump. So I jumped. I managed to walk on top of the crane again, just like the good old days. I managed to avoid jumping here by simply walking around the obstacles. This crane racked up the climbing stats. I hate that. Rice shot rockets at the crane I was on, so I can't shimmy onto the crane this time. I finally made it to the top, where Rice resides. The final fight is here. That climb doesn't count, it's a cutscene. Rice threw a knife at me. It killed me. Then he threw another, and it hit me, but didn't kill me. I dodged every attack Rice swung until he finally mounted me, but then I penetrated him instead. I left Rise to die painfully as I grabbed Zara's homework. He tackled me into a rock in a hard place, then gave me my choice of death as Mom approached. I Uno reversed him, and Mom fucked off when I told her to, and with 193 jumps, 33 vaults, and 113 climbs, I beat Dying Light. I cannot express to you how annoying this challenge was. The idea was dumb, the editing was annoying because of all the jumps, and the voiceover was okay, I guess. But even though you can't see the script, I need you to know that there were many parts that were all caps or even bold because even just typing them made me furious. Don't do this challenge. Not that it's hard, it's literally impossible unless you know some glitches that I don't. Most importantly though, thank you for watching and I hope you enjoyed it. Please consider subscribing as it helps me greatly. And if you made it this far into the video, why not leave a like too? But above all else, have a wonderful day.